I'm used to keeping the pile from getting too hot. Here I am days in and it's not even getting warm. I think this is a failure. In teaching KNF for 14 years, I know the best way to learn is by making mistakes. But mistakes take all the fun out of growing food. So I'm here to make the mistakes so you don't have to. I'm Sherri Miller, and in this series I'm showing you some challenges that I've had and some mistakes that I've made. Today I'm going to show you a particularly challenging IMO pile. I'm working with a farmer who doesn't understand Korean natural farming KNF and doesn't have any money to spare. Maybe you can relate to that? Due to rising costs, he can't even afford diesel for his machinery. That means he can't make compost anymore because he can't run his diesel-operated machinery. Compost is his main way of fertilizing his orchards. They're in a severe drought. It hasn't been this dry in this area for 1,200 years. It's very dry. So these are our big picture goals. He can't afford the inputs. He can't make his compost because he can't afford diesel. He needs to save money. And with the drought especially, he needs to conserve water. It's always hard in the desert, but the desert in the drought is kind of scary. What about you? What challenges are you having? Let's share and let's build a community. Let's help each other. I'll try and answer your questions in the comments or in a future video. If you want more help, I can offer consultations. And to boost this channel, I'm offering a chance to win a free consultation. Stay tuned to the end to find out how to enter. I wanted to use material that the farmer had so he didn't have to buy anything. So we were using waste products from his farm. He's a pecan farmer, so he had pecan tree waste. The material I received was ramiel wood, which is the leaves and branches that fall from trees and their prunings. It had husks and shells from the pecans and some pecan pieces, and this all went through their grinder at the factory. It's a strange mixture. I didn't know if it would work, but I had nothing else to try, and so I did. I don't know if it'll work. I had several problems making this pile. I didn't have all the nutrients I needed for the nutrient solution. I had an FPJ. As I mentioned, I did a video about those problems. I didn't have OHN, Oriental Herbal Nutrient, which is a tonic that helps feed the microbes and helps build immunity. I only had access to one of the 5 ingredients, garlic. So I made an FPJ out of garlic, and I used that as an FPJ because I didn't have the ability to use alcohol for the final extractions. I did, however, happen to have a little bit of water-soluble calcium phosphate in my medicine chest. I use that sometimes for a medicine, and I had a little bit left, so I was able to add that. That's about it. To make the pile, I first mixed the nutrient water with the ingredients that I did have, and I ignored the ones I didn't have. Then in a separate bucket, I mixed the IMO2 that had been storing with water. The water was very cold. Oh, this water's cold. It's gonna have to sit for a while to wake up. It's not gonna wake up in this cold water. And so I had to set it out in the sun for several hours to warm up. Finally, it's getting warm. You can see a little bit of bubbling at the surface. Finally, we can make our pile. I used a cup to distribute the nutrient water and the IMO water evenly throughout the pile. Then we mixed that up and I added water until it reached the proper moisture level, which is about 65–70%. I can use this to brood baby chicks without any heat. It's hot enough. Yeah. And they can keep the barns warm in the winter without any heat. But I don't think you need to mix it anymore. Just flatten it out when we do that.
Okay.
Heavy machinery named Leo. When you grab a handful and squeeze it, you shouldn't have any liquid coming out, but it should clump. This material was a little strange, and it clumped as best as I could expect it to. And then we covered the pile. I didn't have proper covering, so I used what the farmer had. I only covered the top, it didn't cover the whole pile, but we went with what we had. See, this one already blew off.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Why not? I didn't protect it from rain, but it did have a shade cloth over the top. I had a lot of problems when I was culturing this pile. Still hasn't heated up. It's been about 12 hours. And by the second day, it was dry on top, only lightly moist inside the pile. So I watered it again. The next day, it was dry again. This time, I gave it a nice deep soak. I gave it a little bit more water than I usually would. I'm used to being in the rainforest, not the desert. So I watered it in well until it was saturated, and that seemed to work. But I was days in, and I still wasn't getting any heat. I'm used to having to worry about the piles getting too hot. And here I am days in, and it's not even getting warm. I'm thinking, this is a failure. Finally, it started to get warm. It got hot. It started to form solid clumps. It turned white. This pile took about a week, but it actually did work. You can see the steam coming off. We mixed the pile in the area where the garden had been last summer. My plan was to mix it with the soil in the garden, but it was such a large pile and there wasn't much dirt, so they hauled it off to the farm to mix it there and apply it there. Now we can look at the results, but first let's recap what we did. When we collected the IMO on the rice, that was IMO1. When we added the sugar and put it in a jar to store, that was IMO2. What we've just done here, growing the culture out on a medium, is IMO3. The next step is IMO4. The idea is to continue the culture by mixing the IMO3 with an equal volume of soil, the soil you're going to plant into, and the idea is to acclimate the culture to the planting soil. So this is what it looked like before we cultured, and this is what it looks like after culturing with IMO. You'll notice it has a lot of white and it clumps. Some of these clumps are quite large. You want the clumps as intact as possible. That gives an aggregate structure that helps it acclimate to the soil quicker. You know it's done when it doesn't heat up anymore and you've got that nice white stuff throughout your material. Now let's look at the goals of the farmer and whether we hit those. His goals were to save money. It's getting increasingly difficult to be a farmer economically. This is true throughout the world. He wants to conserve water, and he still needs to feed his orchard, but he can't afford inputs. What did we do with IMO? It didn't cost much time or money to make this. The most important factor for this farmer was conserving water. He's in the desert already. He has a deficit of water, and they're in a severe drought. What IMO does is the microbes that are now abundantly in the soil will pull moisture out of the air so they can get moisture even if it doesn't rain. Master Cho demonstrated this in the Gobi Desert. He grew trees in the Gobi where there's basically no rainfall. He had a near 100% success rate growing trees in the Gobi Desert with no rain. So that's why we wanted to do this for this farmer. Get some massive biology in an ecosystem so that it's stable, so that it can help pull moisture from the air, so that his trees can have moisture even though it doesn't rain. And what about feeding the orchards? While he can't make compost, he still is using his waste material and his prunings to mulch his trees. And the mulch, in conjunction with the microbes, are going to pull nutrients out of the soil that otherwise wouldn't be available. So we're helping him feed his trees as well. I thought this was going to be a failure. It turned out to be a success. I've got more challenges coming. I'm not through making mistakes yet, so stay tuned to the channel. Your comments are really appreciated. Give me some questions and I'll answer them. Are you having trouble with Korean natural farming, or do you want to start? I'm a Cho certified instructor and I've been teaching for 14 years. I've taught complete newbies, academics, even subsistence farmers, and I can help you. This is your chance to win a free consultation, a 90-minute virtual video consultation with me. Visit our website for details. The winner will be announced on Equinox in September 2025. I hope it's you. Peace. 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 IMO3.